Boom, we're on.
Okay.
So I don't know if you noticed the title.
No, where I can't see it.
It says Clutch and Cold Springs argue in today's date. I just
Oh,
figured,
okay.
you know what? Let's get some attention over here.
It'll get some clicks.
Yeah, get a couple
Awesome.
of views. I don't know. I don't know how long it takes a person to watch to count it as a view, but I don't do it for
Yeah.
the views.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's interesting.
So I unfortunately Teresa's not going to join us because she wants to spend time with her husband when he gets home. So
Yeah. What
that's
side of the country is she on?
she's in Missouri, same time zone as you.
Oh, oh, okay. Okay.
So when you were talking about my time zone, her time zone, you two are on the same central. You're both on central.
What's a
And
good time for her?
before, I think she said like before, what is it? It was 11 or 12 my time. So that's about 12 or 1 o'clock, I guess, your guys' time.
Uh,
No, it's
no,
2 hours.
I think we're
So
2 hour difference from you.
then it's 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. your time.
Okay. Okay.
And she said he works Sundays too. So if on a Sunday you wanna meet up, we could do that too.
Perfect.
Cool. So you were talking about. I was gonna ask you something.
All
We'll
right.
talk about homesteading stuff first. Is that cool?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, I didn't get to plant my tomatoes today. I know I said I was going to but it's so windy outside. That's one of the things I'm worried about. If it's crazy windy out, doesn't that kind of tear the baby plants apart, or
Well, are you like stressing them before you bring them outside?
like acclimating them? You mean putting them outside every once in a while?
That's one way of doing it, but I like to keep a fan on them like for a few hours a day and like
Really?
have it yeah, like have it really blow at them and it helps them strengthen like it gets
Huh.
them a little stronger so they're ready for the wind outside. And
I did
that's
not know that.
okay. Yeah, maybe I just made that up, but it seems to work for me. I don't know. And
Well, that's a good idea, actually. I was thinking you were talking about taking the pot, putting them outside for a few hours a day, just because it's the heat and everything, but it's on the porch, so the wind doesn't really hit them out there.
yeah,
The
I've tried that.
fan,
Uh, it works, but I don't know. I like doing it this way. I took the tomatoes that Teresa gave me, and I've brought them outside using that method, and they seem to be thriving right now. Like
they're
so, knock,
strong.
yeah, knock on wood. Hopefully they continue to do good.
Okay,
How warm
so
was
I
it
think,
where you were today? You said it was
what's
hot.
that?
You said it was hot today. How hot was it at your where you are?
Well, it's in about 90 degrees, but
Oh,
we have very dry weather.
oh, I know.
So when the wind kicks up, the 90 degrees don't actually feel that bad. It feels all right. It's when you get that stagnant, humid 90 degrees that feels like 110.
When I went to Vegas, uh, it was like 100 degrees at like 10 o'clock, and it was so freaking dry. I'd
Yep.
never been in heat like that before. It was intense for me.
Your lips chap, you start to dry, your skin gets cracked.
Yeah, I was like my throat was dry. Everyone's slanging water everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
And then
Yeah,
they go to the pool to cool off, not realizing they're just soaking up all that chlorine that's just going to dry them out even more. And
yeah.
we've been there, done that. I don't like this kind of weather. I grew up mainly like in Hawaii and Seattle, where it's humid.
Mm.
And so once I ended up here, we're going through bottles and bottles of lotion. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. So, I
Yeah.
mean, it doesn't sound very manly, but even my husband, I mean, his feet get all torn up because they crack and they dry up, and he scratches them. And you
We
boys,
get
you
that.
guys are relentless when it comes to itching.
We get that, but in the winter, it gets so dry in the winter. It's like a desert, just the
Yes,
opposite way. It's brutal.
I know what you're talking about. Bobby even gets it in the winter just as bad as the summer. I think the only time that it's forgiving is during rain season, like in the fall, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, health wise, the heat is okay. It's just that when you're out there working and it's kicking up the dust, and I'm susceptible to allergies. After about an hour or two, my eyes start burning. I can't. I have to come inside. So, you know,
You would not do well here right now. I tried to show you a video the other day, and I don't think it did it justice, but
I saw
it
that though.
it
You could
it's
see the
so
pollen
crazy here.
floating
Like,
around you.
yeah, and like if you look up during the day into the sun, it's like a snowstorm up there. There was so much pollen from these trees. It was
Oh,
incredible.
no.
Incredible. It was like snow. It was wild.
See, and I never used to be like that. I mean, when I was younger, we used to sit outside all day, all year round, you know? And
Yeah.
then for some reason, after I got out of the military, eyes started watering, nose started running, congestion, sore throat, because of nasal drip. It, it's like I
Maybe
can't
they
even
gave
go
you some
outside.
weird stuff.
Yeah, well, that's
I'm just teasing you.
no, it's funny you kind of joke about it because we do too. My husband and I both were in the military,
Oh
and
yeah.
we swear up and down we've never been the same since. Neither, neither of us. I mean, on certain
I
levels of
believe you.
things,
I believe you. Yeah.
and yeah, it's just you don't know, you don't question anything that they. But well, I don't want to cross that line. But where we're going with that part.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll back
Yeah.
up to tomatoes. So
Those
I will
tomatoes
try
look
that though
really
because
cool
that
right
does
now. The
make
ones.
sense.
What's that?
I will try the fan thing because that makes sense.
Yeah, like, and you don't have to have it on full blast. Like, I use low to medium, and I'll do 2, 3 hours at a time, and then give them a break. I don't know,
Okay.
but I keep them under a grow light as well. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I will do
The
that, but I think
tomatoes
we're
she
going to
gave me
postpone. What's that?
the tomatoes she gave me, they look so cool, like with that purple kind of underneath the leaf.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
it's pretty wild.
stems are turning purple, and I was just looking at
Yeah.
them like, are these tomatoes? I was like,
She
these
gave
are
us
the
some.
seeds.
Maybe she gave us some weed or something.
We're gonna come home one day, and it's gonna
Uh,
talk to it. Feed me, Seymour.
oh yeah, yeah. A
I
little
don't know what they're
shot in the
growing out
heart.
in Missouri, but scary stuff. But
I I got about 16 of them out of the seed she gave me that came to sprout, and I
well,
grew them under the light, and I gave 5 away, 5 or 6 away. Uh,
oh,
yeah, just like as presents to friends, people I like, and
that's good.
yeah, and then I've got about 10, whatever. I've got 8 in the ground right now, and I think I got 2 or 3 left that I gotta
What are you
decide what
gonna
to
do
do
with the
with.
last two or three?
I'm just gonna plant them somewhere else and experiment, like different
Okay,
lighting and stuff like that, different conditions.
good. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I was gonna put some out today with the wind and with your idea. I think I'm gonna postpone one more week, do a little bit of that stress acclimation like you were talking about, and then next week hopefully it's not gonna blow them away. So we'll
yeah.
see. We'll share pictures,
Awesome.
but
Yeah,
in other things, you and I were talking about the worldly stuff going on.
yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Give her.
So
Did
this
you
is
have a
what I'm.
question? Because yeah, you were like saying earlier. Well, I gotta ask you something. So go ahead.
Well, this is what's been on my mind, and I'm noticing this on a lot of different YouTube. Not even people like you know how like some YouTubers, they hang out with other YouTubers and they all kind of agree on everything, and like, yeah, we're all for this, but I look at kind of a broad spectrum, even stuff that have nothing to do with faith, nothing to do with current events. It just everything, right?
Yeah,
Um,
I feel you.
you kind of sound like you do the same thing.
Yeah,
Um,
like multiple streams of information, let's say.
yes, and
Yeah.
you get your feelers out, and you start kind of noticing. I noticed a trend in at least three different kinds of streams. One mainly, I like to look at people who have a military take on the world events. You know,
Hmm.
not necessarily faith or tribulation or revelation type ideas, just military. And a couple of them are old military friends of mine. And then, of course, we have friends of ours like Bubba News, and he does a real good coverage on what's going on out in Ukraine and stuff like that. And then
Israel.
yeah, Israel, that's big on him too. And then
Yeah.
there's just those people that just like Marco, that just read the Bible.
Yeah.
It's just Bible study. But then every once in a while they throw in, there's a couple comments, and it's always a lot of people feel like something's winding up or winding down to something. Are you seeing
Oh,
that?
oh yeah, like I feel it too. It's like a calm before a storm. That's what I feel.
Right.
Uh, yeah. Yeah, I
Like the
think I
pressure pot is building.
yeah, I like I know I've been in arguments with other people about whether or not this is the end biblically or if they have to get us to manifest that kind of end, but absolutely I agree the end of something is coming. It like
Right.
something's yeah, I mean you'd have to be crazy not to see it.
Yeah.
Like gas here costs $2.08 a liter. So for you, that would be 2, 4, 6, 8, like 8.50,
Oh
probably
my
something like that.
God. Really? I was gonna say,
Hmm.
because out here in Nevada, we just peaked over right over the $6 per gallon, and I thought I had you beat. But if you're at almost 8, dude.
Yeah, I know,
And
right?
and on top of that, for a while there, Bobby and I were commuting together, so that saved on gas. We have a
Yeah,
Dodge Ram that guzzles gas,
yeah.
and now
I
he's
gotta
starting. Oh, dude, I don't know how
now
we're
the
gonna even
food.
afford food.
That's right, and all that like the cost of gas goes up, cost of food goes up.
Right.
So and it's already at record highs over here in Canada with the housing. They've the they've moved the interest rate so high. Like when people are about to renew right now, they might have been at like 1, 2, maybe 3%. It's going to be around 5, 6% for them now.
Yes. That
Like crazy,
that's
crazy.
another thing that really upset my husband and I, because I've been talking to you about, hey, we're thinking about moving. Remember, I was talking about, we're looking at
Yeah,
Montana, we're looking at Washington, Idaho. We want this much acreage. And last time I talked to you, we talked about homesteading, and I said I want to do this. And in the past month, I've been talking to banks. My bank that I've been with for over 20 years. Another bank that helped us with a home loan that I bought
they
when
don't
I
want to
first
give you
moved.
nothing, eh?
No, I couldn't even qualify. I
Dude,
couldn't
everyone
even.
I talk to, people who are like in much better financial situations than me, they can't get
Yeah,
nothing. And
yeah.
and I've heard you've heard of quantitative easing. I don't know if you've ever heard that term in
No,
housing.
no, I
Basically,
have.
like that's what caused that housing crash, especially in the States. It's like when they lower interest rates like super low and they basically greenlight anybody for a mortgage.
Hmm.
And now they're doing the opposite, where it's quantitative like restriction, where
Yes.
they start closing it down. They raise the rates and they say that'll fight
You
inflation,
know,
which I
that's
don't know
no,
how.
that it's killing people, and it's killing us because, Um, Another thing that they did was they changed a lot of terms in the
Yeah,
bank loan, I guess, the rules. And one of them is, I'll just say it, I talked to Navy Federal. I bank with Navy Federal, right? And
sure.
they helped me finance 2 cars and 2 homes. And now I have a mortgage and one more car payment left with them. And I've never been late. I've never been delinquent. I've never had issues. I've never overdrawn. And I go to ask them about financing a property that I found in Aberdeen, Washington. And the lady tells me, well, there's no structure or building on the property. And I thought she was just saying that, like, where are you going to live, And I told her, I
Yeah.
said, yeah, I know. I just want the land. We're going to put something on it a little later. And she goes, well, then it doesn't qualify. And I'm like, what do you mean it doesn't qualify? How do people buy land around here? And she's like, well,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't know how they do it, but in Navy Federal, you have to have some kind of structure. She actually suggested I buy something that has an old house on it, tear the house down, and then build a new house. I'm like, why am I going to finance a house that I'm just going to tear down? It makes
Yeah.
no sense. And then spend more money to build another house?
Well,
It,
maybe it's that old saying, grow where you're planted,
yeah,
like just
yeah.
do whatever you can to prepare where you are. I would buy a
That's,
lot of flour and rice if I was you. I'm serious.
I know you are. And I'm not laughing at you, brother. I'm laughing because I already beat you to that punch. We
Oh
have
yeah, good.
two we
Yeah,
have two 50-gallon barrels in the shed full of rice.
good.
We we,
Awesome.
we just my husband thought I okay, he thought I was going to think he was crazy when we first got together, cuz he's kind of like, I really hope you don't think I'm nuts, but I have 2 barrels of rice in my shed and I want to keep it, no matter. And I'm like, why do you have so much rice? You're not even Asian. And he's just like, he's like into prepping. And
Yeah.
I was just like, well, that's fantastic. And on top of that, we built up, things that, I think when you think God is pulling you towards something, I kept thinking to myself, if we move, how are we going to move all this stuff we've prepared? I've got canned stuff in jars and buckets and barrels. It's a lot of stuff to move. And now that you mentioned that, and seeing as how any kind of attempts to get out of here with loans or financing has failed, I kind of think what your phrase of just stay where we're at is probably where God's trying to tell us to do, because what else can we
Yeah,
do? It's not like we could anyway. we
that's
it
right.
it's like we're cornered, and I hope anybody
But
else out there that
you're not cornered. Like don't think of it like that,
I
right?
feel like that though. I felt very frustrated. I'm not gonna be. I was mad. I was
For
pretty
sure.
mad.
For sure, we're always mad when we don't get what we want. Like everyone is. I'm no better than any. I am too. But
Yeah,
like like obviously, like you're saying, that's not what God is thinking is the right move. And so like,
we have to
and you
trust.
have you yeah, like trust what he's saying, and you know that you already have a lot prepared, and you probably have a little community or some friends nearby, and like who knows what will be, but I don't know, like just kind of, I don't know how to say it, like just hey, almost
I
like a
think I
Zen,
know. I think
like
I understand where you're going. It's kind of like we've already built something here. To start all over again is almost like a disadvantage, because if time is as short as we were talking about with this, things getting tighter and it's winding down to something, if it's in a
right,
month, I wouldn't have time to prepare any of this stuff.
right, right, and it's like yeah, and exactly, and
Yeah,
God's saying, no, it's not the time. Like, it sounds silly, but like that's how I kind of like see things. Like, some
yeah,
people might say, oh, it's the universe telling you not
no,
to do that. But that's God to me. Like, you
right.
know, you know what I mean? I don't know.
No, I do know what you mean, and I agree. I just don't like hearing it.
Exactly. Yeah.
A spoiled child, like but I want a new house. I sound like a child, but I know you're right, and I
Well, I'm
just
not.
gotta make do with where I'm at because I know in the long run it's probably the better for all of us,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
And
I'll be
just be
thankful
like
for it later.
happy in the moment. You have your husband and you have your son. You have a nice
Yeah,
little house. Like,
and
just enjoy.
chickens.
Yeah, like, just, I don't know. That's kind of how I'm trying to, like, I'm not trying to be afraid of anything that might come. I did
Right.
anything I could do to prepare. I am where God wants me to be, and what's gonna happen is gonna happen, and what that's what's happening. Like, I don't know how else to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, you're right, Clutch. It's just it. I think the other half that frustrates me is knowing that it's not a natural thing that's happening. It's done by other people. You know, it's being done to us. It's a tyranny that's being pushed on us, and I don't want to
Is it?
cross any
Like, I
lines
don't
here.
know. Like, I don't know. I don't like. Do we deserve it in some way? Did we allow this to happen, all of us?
Oh,
Or were we
absolutely.
complacent? We were complacent, and we allowed that corruption to grow, and we went down that slippery slope, and now we're paying the price. Like,
I don't know if I necessarily feel like complacency was what I thought. I was thinking more like, and maybe I'm being selfish because I'm pointing the finger, but you know,
and I
there
don't
are
mean me
too
and
many
you
people,
personally.
huh?
I, I just want to be like, when I say us, or it's not me and you, it's like the proverbial we. You know what I'm
People.
saying? Yeah.
Yes, the
Yeah.
population
Yeah.
believed everything they were dishing out. Yes, okay, so if you're talking about it in that sense, us, the people,
Yeah.
we didn't exercise any of our rights. We didn't watch out for each other. We didn't question anything. We just said, which way and how far? Sure,
We were
I'll jump right
we were
off that cliff.
complacent,
Sure.
right?
Yeah. I guess
Asleep at the wheel.
complacency.
Asleep at the wheel.
Right. And the way everything was acclimated, we were acclimated into it. The young generation into what they are now is is frightening because you have kids, I have kids. We don't want them to end up slaves, but that then we end up sounding like Alex Jones here, just "Ah, take our kids out," and I start tearing shirts off and shit. But we, yeah, that's
They
what
are,
frustrates me.
but they are like, but I don't know. Something like, I've told you about Owen Benjamin. I don't think you've watched any of his stuff, but he
Yes,
says,
I
like, sorry, go ahead.
no, I just said yes. Yeah, I have heard of that, and I think I did watch one of the videos you sent me.
Cool, cool. Yeah, like he says, like, don't look at their movies, don't buy their uh products, don't take their loans. That's kind of how
Yeah,
we beat it, and that's how we make sure our kids aren't susceptible to it. Form our own communities.
yeah,
I
and
mean, what else could we do?
well, and let me bring this up. Okay, so I got rid of my cell phone service, right?
Yeah.
I'm done. I
Awesome.
I don't owe
Awesome.
Sprint. I don't owe Sprint nothing no more. T-Mobile now. They switched to T-Mobile. What in the midst of all this, 5G gaga stuff coming out?
The
I don't want to.
5G? Is that what you said?
Well, I didn't want to like highlight my video by down talking it because I could get a strike for it apparently. But
Okay.
yeah, yeah, did you know that? I didn't
A
know that.
strike for saying what? What for saying what?
You know how there's 3G service and
Yeah.
then it goes up next one and then the one
Yeah.
that where they're starting
Yeah.
up that I
Yeah.
I got a strike on a previous video for talking about how dangerous it is.
No,
And
it's not dangerous, right?
well, it doesn't matter though. With here's my point.
No, no, no. I didn't want you to get a strike because of how you chose your words there.
Oh, okay. Okay. So even with that, even with the dependency, how people have become dependent on their phones or
Yeah,
addicted to their phones,
for
I
sure.
wanted to cut that out because I I'm seeing where people are doing grocery shopping. How long until we can't even pick up groceries because we're not allowed to go into the grocery store? How long until, and here's another thing, in Midtown Reno, you used to be able to go downtown, and there's this old record shop called Recycled Record. Bobby and I would just parallel park on the main road in the middle of downtown Reno and walk to the record store, and it's speckled with all kinds of neat little boutiques and restaurants and in the past 3 years they've upgraded the whole area, and I say that with quotation marks because now it's like now it's like downtown San Francisco. You can't park anywhere unless you pay the $20 a day fee.
Oh
And
yeah.
and here's the big kicker. You can't pay the $20 fee by walking up to some box and just shoving the bills in. You have
Gotta
to
have a
text a phone number on your cell phone and pay by phone. That's
oh
the
wow.
only choice you have. So, in other words, now that I don't have a service phone, I cannot go down to Midtown Reno and park there unless the parking attendant, if there is one, understands and lets me park there for free. There's so many things that are becoming, these cell phones are becoming the world. And in the
Yeah.
next few generations, people are not going to have a choice
It's
but
like
to,
it's like the beginning of cybernetics in a way. It's like you have
yep,
a do you know what I mean? Like it's a like
yeah,
transhumanism in a way because you have a device that's kind of attached to you now and a part of you.
yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, I
Okay,
agree.
try this. This weirded me out last week. Okay, so June
Yeah.
6th was the last day of my service.
Okay.
Okay, here's the funny thing. I have no use for a cell phone in a car now because obviously, I mean, what am I going to do? Call on it? I can't do anything with it. So
Yeah.
I out of habit, I had this cell phone sitting in the seat next to me because that's just how I always went to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Throw your
after the
phone
first
on the
two
seat.
days, I'm like, what am I doing? I don't even need this cell phone. So I left it in the back seat and I had nothing in the front seat with me. Nothing. I had the steering wheel and the gas pedal, and it was strange because I could consciously feel the empty seat next to me, dude.
Oh
Do
wow.
you drive with your phone right next to you?
Yeah.
Try without it. Throw it in the back seat. Better yet, leave it at home. Drive somewhere.
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
weird.
Wow. Yeah.
It
No,
is weird.
I have left it behind on purpose before. Get this,
Have you?
because of this. Um, during the height of the lockdown hysteria here,
Yeah.
they canceled Christmas, all that kind of stuff, right? I say
Yeah.
they canceled Christmas.
Christmas was
They,
canceled.
yeah, they said like you can't go to. They were telling people you can't go to other people's houses. You
Oh
if you
yeah,
were caught having someone over at your house, you'd be fined,
I
right?
remember that. I remember that. Outrageous.
Crazy. Yes, like so outrageous on so many levels. I can't even begin to count. And so to connect it to what we were just talking about, it came out just recently that during that time the government uh, spied on everybody through their cell phone, and was
Really?
like basically collecting data to see who listened and who went somewhere and who didn't, and they tracked everybody. And
Wow.
it came out, but it was barely even like no one cared. They're like, oh yeah, big like there was no outrage, no public, like no one freaked out. Just kind of went,
Acclimated.
yeah. They're like, yeah. And I'm
People
like,
were
what?
acclimated to it.
And I knew, and I guess I'm in the same boat. I knew too, but I'm like, we should be mad about this. We should be doing something. Like I don't know what we
Yeah.
do.
No, I agree with you. And and I guess the phrase "be the change you want to see."
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the biggest reasons why I decided, what, I'm done with this. And ironically, I'm still sitting here, with my serviceless cell phone, using Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
talking on the StreamYard. But I did notice
They
that
and
there
they,
is a. Say
they
again?
can be a useful. They could be a useful tool, right? But
Yes,
we should use it like that, and that's it,
but
really.
I'm not going to pay hundreds of dollars a month anymore for a tool that's going to make me a tool.
Yeah, yeah. Good.
That's
Yeah,
another thing. It's just like, if money's going to be an issue right now,
yeah.
I'm cutting out the excess fat, and this is
Trim
the
the
first
fat.
thing.
Yeah,
Trim the fat. That's right. And so
yeah.
that's why I made this decision. And the funny thing was, I
It's a good one.
majority of the places and people that I call and told them, hey, this phone number, I'm getting rid of this cell phone. So, here's my new number, and they'll write it down or enter it into their cell phone. And they're like, great, I'll send you a test text, right? And I told them, I'm like, oh no, that's my home phone. It's a landline. And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, well, what's your new cell phone number? I'm like, there isn't one.
And this is it. Yeah, like,
You know,
well, you can fax me.
dead silence was majority of the response. The other responses were questions like, how are you going to get groceries? How are you going to call in an emergency? And it's
Yeah.
just, the reaction was more fun than anything else. I'm not going to lie.
Do you remember growing up without the internet? I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Wasn't it a better time? Like without the
It,
devices, without the internet, without any of that?
yes.
Yeah, I think so
Here's
too.
here's a funny story. One of the videos I made where I went out in the morning and I let the chickens out. I got to make more of those, by the way. I miss my chicken videos. I've just been busy
Absolutely.
doing stuff. But there was one video, and it was so funny because I was all excited to see them on a Saturday morning. I worked all week. I didn't get to see my girls. I opened the door and I'm like, hi, babies. And they all ran right past me. And in the video, you just see all six of them running away. And I'm like, what the, and my friend Vader Jones, she's been on some of the comments and stuff. She made a comment. She said, bye, mom. See you when the street lights turn on. Do you do you
Yeah,
know what
that's how
that
it used
phrase
to be.
means? You remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And the funny thing
That's how it
is
was.
like, yeah, a lot of people now, young kids, might not really even get that.
No.
And I remember going out to play in the woods of Washington, and it was thick forest, and my mom would not see me for almost 5, 6 hours, and the only time I came back was when I got hungry.
That's right. You might come back at lunch or something, but
Yeah,
supper.
run
But
inside, grab something to eat, take it outside, and be gone for another 5 hours. It's just until it got dark.
for sure. That you like hung out, you just went to someone's house. Hey, you want to play? Or you just seen someone, you hung out with them at the park.
Yeah.
What you just did stuff. I don't know.
Remember this phrase? A kid would come up to the door, knock on the door, and be like, "Can Clutch come out to play?"
Yeah. No. He's
Now
grounded.
kids don't even do that.
No.
They don't.
Uh,
They don't have to. They just text each other.
we were going for a walk outside in the town last summer, and
Uh
I was
huh.
like telling my kids, like, when I was a kid, there would be kids outside right now. I'm like, where are all
Yes.
the kids? There was no one at a park. There was no one
No.
anywhere.
They're at home on their PS5
Yeah.
on virtual parties.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
They're soft.
They are, yeah, and
Like,
they're happy. But that's the other part of it, Clutch. We were
no,
talking
they're
about.
not. They're not happy. They're not happy. Why do you think, like, I got to be really careful how I say this. Whenever there's a situation where there's maybe mass violence or something like of that sort.
Oh, you're talking about.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
what,
sensitivity.
like, why do those people, like, it's not the the thing that they use to do that violence. That's not the problem. The problem is why they're feeling like that. Why are they so disconnected?
And isn't that ironic? You use the word disconnected in a world where connection is key. But the
Exactly.
happiness I was talking about was more along the lines of these kids sitting at home on their PS5 for 18 hours a day, have no
Ugh.
desire to go outside, and it's sunny out. Great, let's go play. Remember when kids got upset that it started raining
Mm-hmm.
because you got stuck
It's
inside?
cold. Yeah.
So that's what I was implying to. But I do see what you're saying. That is a mental health thing. That is more of a. Oh, did I say that wrong? No, I think mental health is kind of the feeling I get, because it's almost like they're so desensitized to sensitivity. Did I say that wrong?
No, no, I'm just thinking.
Here's where I agree with you. Okay,
Hmm?
like if we go to the public area and somebody does something rude or some, I remember if I misbehaved in a restaurant and my mom and dad weren't able to see me, and I did or said something that was out of line, there would be another adult be like, "Young lady, don't do that," or you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, people can't even fathom that, and it's kids can't process social. They can't even socialize like real people half the time
Do you know why people don't do that anymore?
because
Because there's no community.
yep,
They're like, oh, diversity is our strength. It isn't. Uh,
no,
it and I'm not
you
anti any
racist,
group, but
racist. No, I'm kidding. But no, I
oh,
see what
people
you're
probably
saying.
think I am, but no, like we have a culture. Like
Yeah,
everybody does, and I'm not just talking like white people. I'm sure white people do have a culture, but I'm even saying like people of North America. Like we have certain traditions here and we do things a certain way. That's culture, right?
right.
And now it's being broken up not only by like immigration, but by like technology, by people like being connected virtually and not like in a
Yes,
community together helping each other, right?
that's
I don't know. I
right.
don't know if that point makes any sense, but I feel like
No,
we're all just like no one thinks about their neighbor. No one even knows them. Everyone's just it,
exactly.
it's my own little thing, like my own little world.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When I was out in public as a little girl, when somebody said that to me, it was more about caring, because this was somebody's child, and if it was my child, I would want to make sure that they were looking after each other's children. And
Yeah, there's
people
nothing
can't
wrong
do
with
that anymore.
no, no, it
I
would be
used
really
to
weird.
Yeah, I mean, it was normal for me to go three houses down to the old lady that lived there by herself, ask her if she, is like, my mom told me to come down and see if you needed help with your trash or your
Yeah,
yard.
yeah,
And she would, and she'd give me it would never be anything hard, but then afterwards she'd give me like a bunch of cookies and be like, "Thank you so much, sweetie," give me a kiss on the cheek and send me on my way.
That's pretty cool.
How crazy would that be now? Like you kissed a child, it's not even your child. It's like,
You want to hear something funny? My
okay.
youngest kid, my daughter,
Uh-huh.
she's 4 and she loves old ladies.
Oh.
She'll like talk to them in grocery stores. She sees them like on the side of the road, like walking or something on a sidewalk,
Oh.
and she'll be like want me to stop and just talk to this person, like a total stranger because she's like, oh, she's a nice lady, and like she just loves old ladies. It's pretty
But
hilarious.
still, just Daddy,
Yeah.
pull over. There's an old lady.
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
I think
She's so
that's,
sweet.
but see, that's the innocence of children, and that's why it was okay back then. Somehow, it's turned into something ugly today for some reason. Old
Everything's
ladies,
corrupted.
yeah, yeah.
Everything's corrupted. Like I don't know. I feel it. I just feel like the something's off.
Well,
Everything. Even like thinking
me,
about the internet before, I was like, it's like a Pandora's box opened and we can't close it anymore, and we gotta like
yeah.
play it out. I don't know. It sounds
And
silly, but
I feel so guilty because I get irritated when I see YouTube videos of it's something like, um, she fell on the sidewalk and then this happened, and I, okay, what happened? So I click on it, and it's somebody doing something sweet, something kind. They helped the old lady, they helped somebody across the street, something, and I'm like, that's great, that's wonderful, why are you filming it? Why the hell didn't you go over there and help them too? You just sat there and pulled out your phone and thought it'd be a great YouTube video? That's
yeah,
where I see
yeah.
it now. I'm all fired up and I'm shouting at you. I'm sorry, brother.
No,
But
no, no.
that
Like
that
even like prayers or acts of kindness, I think I'm pretty sure the Bible says we're supposed to do that in private. Like we're not
yeah.
supposed to make any like you don't say that you did. It loses its
Yeah.
specialness if you say that you like, oh, you know what I did? Well,
I
now it
prayed
doesn't
for you.
count. Doesn't count now.
Yeah. You
I don't
you
know.
nulled it. You made it
You know,
null by making it no. It's like wishes. You can't tell anybody what you wished for.
right? Like, or if I gave like $100 to a bum or something, and then came and told you, like,
Yes.
then it doesn't. I don't know. I think you ruined it then.
Well, that's because those kind of, oh, and let's mention it. We've heard people talk about re- repenting and
Hmm.
works, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And all I see are people talking about it. They're talking about it. Well, fantastic. But to me, and if you disagree, brother, I'm sorry, but to me, that's the
We're
sort of
gonna
thing that
argue now.
stays. Yeah, here's the arguing part. But to me, that's something that stays between you and Jesus. It's not something you go out there and start telling people, well, Clutch, you can't find salvation without works. It says in this scripture, and why that none of my business. What you do for works and what you do in repenting is between you and Jesus. But I'm not going to sit here and debate it. I just I don't know.
No,
I heard somebody say something to me, and I'll stop with this. So I asked the question in Marco's live stream the other day. Like, have you guys ever heard people talk about works being a part of salvation, and
hmm
one person just said, well, the way I think of it is works is a display of salvation, but even people who are not saved can do works too. And I was like, yeah, that's true. And I left it at that. Too much?
No, no. I'm just considering everything. Like I'm letting out. I'm hearing you.
You're
I
marinating.
Yeah. Like I think I agree with everything you're saying. Like even though I talk about works, I'm probably one of the ones you reference. Like I do
Yes.
talk about it, and I don't talk about it like I've done this work or you should do this work. I just mean I think there's more to salvation and less to it than what we're told by mainstream Christianity. And I don't
Yeah.
think it's saying a magic phrase and then automatically I'm saved. I don't
Yeah.
believe that. I don't think it's possible. I think it makes no sense. What, so if I live somewhere where I don't hear that magic phrase, then I die just because?
Yeah.
Like, you know what? But at the same time, I don't think I can earn my way into heaven. I think it's like, I don't know, like, I,
Listening to you struggle is kind of funny, but
well,
I think I know what you're saying, and we'll go back to what you started with the whole telling people that you prayed for them, right?
right.
It, it's a journey for each individual person. To me, salvation starts with it's a journey. I mean, it's not, it's not that, like you said, that magical phrase and oh, I'm done. I said the phrase. We're good.
That's right. How could it be?
Bye.
That's silly. That's
Yeah.
like Freemason bullshit. That's really what
Right?
it is. Like, how
Yeah.
is it not? It's
Here
even,
comes level
I dare
33.
say it's like satanic in a way. It's
Yes.
Crowleyism. Doest
Yeah.
thou will, basically. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Not
It's
you personally. I'm
no,
not
no.
attacking you.
I know what you're. I agree. I agree. But I just know what the journey means to me, and I can't. The thing
But
is, everybody's different though. It's because my experience when I came to Christ is nothing like yours. I mean, you've even said it. It was not a huge like, oh, and the clouds parted and God came out of the sky. But not saying that happened to me, but it was very profound for me. But it's also been very personal since then. So I
and
don't try to
to
push
be
people to have the same thing as I did.
I agree. And just to be clear, I'm not saying I've never had a profound moment uh, with with God, thinking of God. I'm just saying I don't. I like when there's like, I'm a hot in the spirit. Woo! I'm a bit of amen. Like, I'm not that, and I never will
Like
be
the
that. It's
Blues
not.
Brothers.
Yeah, it's not possible for me. It's just my personality. Does that mean like I'm not saved? No, of course not. I just go about it different, and it's like what you're saying. Everybody's journey is their own. It's all personal, and you'll meet God at some point. You're going to be before that, like that
Yep.
throne, and you'll have to answer for what you did, good and bad. And it,
Exactly.
and I, I don't know. I don't know how he's going to judge it. Like, I'm not God. I don't know. I wish I knew. I wish I could just, and believe me, I wish I could just say a magic phrase and I'm just like, whoo, I know I'm good.
Yeah.
Like,
Hit the finish line.
yeah, I wish. I don't believe that. But does that mean I'm not saved because I can't believe in your magic phrase? No, I, I want to follow God. I feel called out if I sin. If I do
Yep.
something bad, I feel judged. I don't want to do anything bad. I want to be a good person. Like, not a good. I want to follow what God wants me to do. I want to grow. I want to be a. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You want to have a proper relationship with Christ. And that's my point. It's a relationship with what some people say, like you have to declare that he's your Lord and Savior, but
yeah. What if
I
I
never.
don't believe that Jesus is God? Like, does that mean I'm out?
That's
Because I don't. I don't believe
you're
that.
not part of the club.
Yeah, that's all. You're out. No, you're not. Like, because your mind
I'm not
couldn't
good enough.
understand that.
But see, that's kind of one of the things that I was alluding to when I say that everybody's journey is different, because to some people the journey for them means that they have to repent. Repenting is the key. Okay,
Mhm.
to other people, witnessing, they have to go out and witness to people. They want to be with people, and their mission is to save others the way they were saved.
Mhm.
Okay. And
Mhm.
then to someone else, it's simple as getting on your knees, looking up and saying, Jesus is my Lord and Savior. And whatever happens after that, happens after that. For everybody,
He's
it's
right.
different. And I'm not saying what's right, what's wrong, who's right and who's
No,
wrong.
one's got to be right. One has to be right.
And
No, I'm
see,
kidding.
that's yeah. I thought
I'm
you were
kidding.
being sarcastic. I'm like, very funny, brother.
Yeah, no, yeah. But that's the thing, right? Everybody says that. Like, no, there's only one way.
But
There's
see,
only one
that's
way.
the one certainty I have about that is when you have a different kind of journey than somebody else, it is wrong for you to sit there and tell them that they're doing it wrong. Because
Do you,
I
do you
Teresa
think
said
God
something
is
very
experiencing, like, okay, they say, like, this sounds silly. Like, they say everything has a piece of God in it, right? Or they should, or and anyways, I've heard that.
okay.
Right? Do you think, like, kind of God is, like, this is going to sound
In
silly, I guess, but
everything?
yeah, like, he's in everything, but okay, so he's experiencing what it's like to kind of be a human, like, through your experience, and he's kind of experiencing it through my experience, and he can experience it, like, through like his, if he can have a relationship with all these individual people, all the billions of people, then he would be able to, like, see things in their way, like, and understand it, right? Do you know what I'm, so he's like,
Yeah, I know what
in
you're
a way,
saying.
God's experiencing everybody individually, so there's not one person that's right, and it's like everybody's, you know what I'm saying, like, everybody's based on their, I don't know, maybe that's
Everybody
stupid.
has their own journey.
Yeah,
And you're wondering if maybe God is a part of their journey to have different experiences through
yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah, I guess that's exact, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, my honest answer is I don't know, but I'm not going to argue the point because of just like
We
I was
need
about to
clicks,
say.
though.
Well, Teresa said something to me today, and I think I admire it because to be humble enough to just kind of say, "What if I'm wrong and you're right?" So I'm not, I'm not going to shoot you down, brother. I've never really heard that kind of thought about it.
I don't know that, like, I'm not saying that that's a thing. I'm just like, I just like
You
to
just pulled that
speculate.
one right out of your crack just now.
No, but I just like to
Oh,
speculate. But what you said just made me think of something. When I was at a funeral yesterday, I told you about, and
yeah,
they were discussing, this guy never argued with anyone, even when he knew he was right, and people would come to him later, like, and be like, "Oh,
yeah.
you know what? I was wrong." He never argued back. Like, he would just be like, "Oh yeah, okay, well, whatever." Like, "Oh, good luck with that," or whatever, right? And
Yeah.
he never argued about it, and that was just it's an admirable quality, and it just made me think of that as you're describing. Like, yeah, like, no one knows. No one
Well,
knows. No one could be right, I don't think. We could get we can get close. We can kind of, you know what I mean? But
yeah, I do. And well, two things. That's funny. It reminds me of my dad. My dad never argued with people either. I always,
awesome.
when I became hot-headed teenager, I would sit there and ask him, like, why would you let mom say that stuff to you? Why didn't you say something? You know she's wrong, right? She's lying about that. And I get all, like a teenager does.
Hmm.
And my dad's answer to me one time was, well, why should I? I've got nothing to prove. And and that struck me at the time as, well, that's lame. You got to prove that you're right. You got to prove this. You got to prove that. Well, when you're a rebellious teenager, you don't think about how much confidence a person, and wisdom really, a person displays by not arguing. There's
Yeah,
Sometimes there's
yeah,
more wisdom in the words you don't say because you're not
absolutely.
stooping to that level.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. That's something I've been learning as I'm getting older. Like, as in my 20s, it didn't matter. I knew it. Like, even it was so stupid. Like, how arrogant I
Like
could
you
have
knew
been.
everything.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
not only that I knew it, but I was gonna argue with you till you seen it my way.
Yeah, I was the same way. And
Yeah,
then
and
if
I just
and then if you were stubborn enough not to agree with me, I made sure it was awkward and uncomfortable every time we were around each other because it was your
yes,
fault.
yes,
You know what I mean?
yes. I'm the
You got
same
that
way.
little
Yeah,
sarcastic attitude, and
yeah. Just like you think you're so smart.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's that
yeah,
idiot that thinks he knows everything. Yeah, I
yeah.
did that too. It's it's funny now because I was the ass, but back then I was pretty proud of how arrogant I was, and that's horrible.
See, like I was talking with my wife yesterday on the way back, and
I hope so.
and kind of discussing like why are we here? What's the point of all that? And it's like just like how we learned so much just from your 20s to your 40s, from your when you're 10 till you're 20. You could you imagine being an infinite being and just having all that power, but you just had no knowledge, you had no wisdom. Like maybe we're here because we have to like learn uh, how to let go, how to
Yep.
uh, how to love. We have to understand hate. We have to understand. We're here to learn and like evolve into something different. And like this isn't the end. We're in an evolution. We are evolving in a way,
That's
but
right.
just differently than what they say. And we this is just like a school right now. I don't know. That's kind of what I think is
I
really
agree.
going on. Like that's the our purpose here is really just to learn, to experience.
I agree. I completely agree. I've I've been saying and talking to my son, especially during this time when he's graduating and stuff like that. And I told him it doesn't get any better. Life gets hard, but you do get better experience. You're gonna get good and bad,
Yeah.
and the real test is how you react to it. When you find out you're right, do you gloat about it? When you find out you're wrong, do you throw a tantrum or do you learn from it? When you
Mhm.
are in a situation where you are humiliated, do you act, like a child, or do you act like a man? It's just it
Did I ever did I ever
it,
tell you
it
about? Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
oh no, I'm pretty
No,
much running out of what I was thinking, so you go
no.
ahead.
Go ahead. Did I ever tell you about Matt from Quantum of Conscience? Did I ever
Matt from what?
Quantum of Conscience?
No, you didn't. I don't recognize that.
So, like, that's kind of the stuff he talks like a lot about spiritual stuff and like why we're here, like reality, the nature of reality, that kind of stuff. It's very fascinating. You should check him out. Um, but he was talking about one thing uh, like how reality could trick us, and like there's a story about Sisyphus. I can't speak. Uh, and anyways, like
Synthesizer?
it's a Greek myth about pushing a stone up a hill, and he's
Atlas.
constantly no,
No,
no. Atlas
Atlas
has the
held the
world on
world.
his yeah.
Okay.
Uh, anyways, and it's kind of like it feeds you what you want, kind of is the whole message there.
Huh.
But I don't know. Check them out. You might really like them. It's kind of this kind of talk. I don't know. I don't know where
I'm
I'm going with this.
No, no, no. We were talking about the journey. Sisyphus. Sisyphus in Greek mythology, or Sisyphos, was the founder and king of Ephra. Zeus punished him for cheating death twice by forcing him to roll an immense boulder up a hill, only for it to roll down every time it neared the top.
That's right. Right.
Okay.
So you never get the like you can go down all the rabbit holes you want. You're always going to end up in the same spot. That's kind of what Matt was saying
Nice.
on his. So there's no like reason to argue. There's no one
Yep.
who's right. No, that's kind of where I'm trying to go with this. Like no one's right. There's no reason to argue. We're all here to experience something and just like go with that and experience it. And I don't know. Does that
You
make
said
sense?
Matt. What is the guy's Matt?
Just put quantum of conscience in YouTube. It should pop up.
Quantum of Conscience. Oh, there it is. Matthew McKinley. Okay,
Yeah.
so what I'll do is I'll put a link to.
So he's not
Wow, there's a
Christian.
lot of stuff though.
Hey?
Wow, a lot of books.
Oh,
Goodreads,
no,
Nook,
not books.
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
Okay, I'll find a channel and I'll post the link. So
I
I'll look
can
into some of it too.
I can send it to you, but before you do decide you want to post it, I should tell you he's not Christian. He doesn't
That's
he
okay.
seems to believe in God, but he doesn't believe in Christianity the way we might understand it.
You
So
afraid? You afraid Mama's gonna pop up and tell you it's the devil, Bobby? It's the devil. No, I know. Not
no,
everything educational is going to be faith based, but
right.
if it's educational, it's still the part of that philosophy is very true. It's one of the things and reasons why people talk about how nobody wins in a war. Nope,
Yeah.
nobody wins. Even the winner doesn't win. I mean, at the loss of life and
The
stuff.
bankers win.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that is something else that a part of education that people should be illuminated on. But if they choose to look that up, they should. But
Right.
yeah,
And that's kind of like, or I don't know if I'm being hypocritical, because yeah, there's lots to learn, but at the same time, like I don't know, like are we supposed to, I don't know. It's kind of like
should we not
are
entertain?
we pushing a rock up a hill constantly?
We might be, but I mean,
Like
when
what
you're
is it?
trying when you're trying to learn something, or when you're trying to win battles, or what are you referencing?
Good point. Good point. Yeah.
I mean, because when you're trying to learn something, trial and error is just going to happen. It just
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Planting tomatoes in one side of the house or planting them on the other, which one is going to end up working? Or what if neither
Right. And
do?
it's an acquired knowledge and it's useful to have while we're here, right?
Right.
But I guess in the end we ought to let that go too, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
no, that makes a lot of sense. I'm glad you brought that up because I did have a conversation with a friend today about, just the things that we try to do. If everything is tainted by the devil, and what are you supposed to do? Dig a hole, sit in it, and hope demons never reach you? It's gonna
Exactly.
happen.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. Yes. Yeah.
You can't, and you pick up the knowledge that's available and you use your common sense and intelligence to decipher what's appropriate, what's true, what's going to be helpful, what is useless, and that's part of the growing process.
Yes. Yes.
The
Exactly.
more
Right.
you know. I need one of those rainbows that go over like the reading rainbow.
You should put that on the banner for your channel or for the show today.
The more you know.
With that
I
big
will.
rainbow star. Boom.
Yes. Well,
We're
who
taking
is
it
it?
back.
Jordy?
We're
Was it
taking it
Jordy?
back.
What? Say that again.
I'm saying we're taking it back. We're taking the rainbow back.
We should. Yeah.
Right?
We're gonna turn it into something good.
I
Well,
wouldn't wear I would never put a rainbow on me even if it was like not associated with that because that just seems really like lame.
well,
But
you know,
yeah, we should take it
what's
back.
funny is, like, we were talking about watching a whole spectrum of YouTube videos, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I touched on I touched on one video of this YouTuber. He's called I think the Hair Buddha, right? And it's like a Swedish guy that's a hairdresser, and it's his reaction to all these TikTok videos of people trying to do their hair by themselves. And he's like, oh no, don't do that, and all this stuff. You would be surprised how many people dye their hair in a rainbow color. And he even said it. He goes, why so many rainbows in the hair? I'm like, good
Why?
point.
Oh, why would you do that? Do you remember
I
when people with dyed hair used to be like, you'd be like, oh, that guy's like, he's probably hardcore. He's probably
He's got to
pretty
be a rock
cool.
star.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
now if I see someone with dyed hair, I'm like, oh, that is probably a extreme
CEO of some company.
or left, like some sort of left-leaning person. I'm probably not going to have a like.
Yeah,
What do we have in common? Like, I don't know,
yeah. No,
nothing.
I know what you mean. I when I and the worst part to me is when I talk to somebody on the phone, because I'm on the phone constantly at work, and
Yeah,
then they're like, "Okay, I'll be in tomorrow," and this sounds like a just vulnerable person because they've lost somebody. It's always somebody they've lost, right?
for
And
sure.
then they show up looking like some rock band outcast. I'm like, dude,
Oh yeah, that would
whoa.
be weird. Yeah, yeah.
And it's just you try to maintain the same kind of mentality you had, and that's my own sin. That's my prejudice. I have these old school prejudices against when you show up to a job, you shave, you wear a tie, but people don't do that anymore. People work at Walmart wearing chains and
With
hoops
their
in their
ears
ears
like all
and
stretched out. Oh,
yep,
that's so.
yeah,
Ugh.
thick
What are you gonna do
eyeliner.
when you're like 80 and your ears fucking like?
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna be such a tool.
Well,
Uh,
that's the funny thing when that's a funny story I have when I have a cousin, beautiful Hawaiian girl. She was so popular in high school,
yeah,
and she was one of the trendy high schoolers that actually got a tattoo when she was only 16 years old, and
yeah,
everybody thought it was awesome, right? Her
yeah.
tattoo was a Hawaiian lei that went around her navel. And everybody was like, "Oh my God, that's so sexy," and all this stuff until she had two kids. Now it looks like somebody just barfed on her belly button. It was just, I always laugh at her. I'm like, your flowers are dead. They're all wilted. And she's like, and then
Oh,
she pointed at her stretch marks and she's like, yeah, look at the roots.
oh.
It's horrible. But I'm not saying tattoos are bad. I'm just saying, think about where you're putting it and
Yeah.
what it is.
I got tattoos, and I wish I wouldn't have. I just thought I would be cool.
Yeah.
Like
I
I don't, I don't know.
I have a
Not.
couple marks of the beast too. I have one on my shoulder that I tried to do myself when I was 13 because a girl down the street told me that if you use ink and a sewing needle and don't prick yourself too deep, it'll fade away in a couple months. You're just tattooing the top layer, right? And I believed
Mhm.
her. And then my dad came to visit a few months later and he's like, "What the hell is that?" And I got in trouble, dude. I got in so much trouble. But
I
I,
did
I
something. I did something similar. There was some attractive young lady who thought she could tattoo, and she did the same thing, like Indian ink and a
yeah.
needle, like right by my thumb, in between my like kind of the web there between your finger and your thumb.
Oh
But
yeah,
luckily she was really bad at it, and it completely faded. You could see like one tiny little mark
yeah.
of. It was supposed to be a cross, but
Now it looks like a small bruise on your hand or
like
something.
you could barely see it, especially in the summer because my hand gets tanned up from the sun. You
Oh
can't
yeah,
even see it.
yeah,
But yeah, I did the same thing. I just thought it'd be cool.
that's
I
funny
was trying to
because
impress her. I do a lot of stupid stuff trying to impress girls. Like
was
lots of
she
stupid stuff.
impressed?
Like I guess.
you know,
Whatever. That's a story for another day.
yeah. We'll save that one for sure. I was just gonna say this. I'm more impressed. My husband has no piercings, no tattoos, nothing. Nothing. I was like, didn't you ever want to, like do something, you know? I was just like trying to relate to him on that, and he was
I
just
took
like,
my earrings out, and like I think the holes have pretty much closed. But I can't take I wish I could take my tattoos off.
Yeah. I've actually looked into that laser thing where they can basically burn the tattoo off your skin.
Yeah, I thought of
Uh,
that too.
yeah,
I don't
and it was
know.
like $120, and I was like, oh, that's not too bad. They're like each session until it disappears. I'm like,
Right.
it's right.
And I've got a lot of ink on my arms, so it would probably
Eh,
like it would not be worth it really financially for me to. But I just
exactly.
gotta. I did this, and I gotta live with the
Live with our
consequences.
decisions, right?
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
We go right back to trials and errors,
Something I
and
did as a rash youth.
yeah. And when you're 90 someday, you can tell your great grandchildren about the cross. That's supposed to be a cross.
Yeah,
They're
like
gonna look
oh,
at
I
it and
got
be like, "Why do you have a jellyfish on your hand, Grandpa?"
I, exactly. I'm gonna have all these stupid things on my arm, and they're gonna be like, oh, I don't know
Oh,
what to say. I'll
that's
tell
that's
them I was a sailor.
that's right. You know the irony of that? Same thing with my dad. My dad never had any tattoos.
Really? And he was a
Yeah,
sailor, right?
he was a
Yeah.
sailor for 30 years. Never he didn't like them. He did not like them. And I kind of think it was because he was raised that Southern Baptist uh, panhandle in Texas type of thing, you know. But
My my dad was the same. He didn't have them, didn't like them, but it wasn't for religious reasons. Although he was, I guess technically he was Catholic, but he just
yeah,
thought it was a stupid waste of money.
yeah. That I was about to say that. I was gonna say my dad had that Southern Baptist background, but I really don't think it was for the religion. I think he just he didn't want them. He just didn't want them.
No. I'd
So
be like, Dad, they're cool, man. I'm like, I could spend all that money on a poster and put it on my wall, but now I get to carry it around my arm, Dad. It's
yeah,
cool.
now you have it on your arm so you can regret it when you're 50.
That's
Or
basically what
in my
he said.
cousin's case, you're gonna have this weird puke stain on your belly button when you have kids. You
I
know?
could just imagine that. Oh,
Oh my
so
goodness!
nasty.
Can you imagine
So
all
nasty.
these girls that have those piercings and what does that tear or do? I don't. I'm not. I'm asking the wrong person. Sorry.
Yeah.
Unless you do have belly button piercings, but we're not gonna.
No, no,
Boop.
no. I just pierced my ears and I've taken those out.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty effeminate when guys pierce their tongue or their belly buttons.
Oh my gosh, I know. The ones that okay, well I don't want to get rude, but they're, they do the piercings and the in the earrings and then they do the nose rings.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of the nose though. So
Yeah, like
like
a bullhorn. Like,
yes, yes.
yeah,
I that makes me want to just yank it out
grab
when I
it and
see
yank
I
it.
know.
Yeah.
Is that bad?
Can you
I'm
imagine when
sorry.
it's out and they got that big hole there? Like, what the?
Ugh.
Oh, it would
Yeah. I mean, I always want to
stupid.
ask questions like, has anything gotten caught when you sneezed? Or, just do you ever get something dripping out and you just don't realize it? Or I don't know. Blah.
And they pierce worse stuff than that. They're crazy. They're
Yeah,
absolutely crazy.
I
Yeah.
almost said that too, and I went back to just the nose thing. So I did, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I
Bring
don't.
me back to tattoos, please.
Stupid people. Stupid,
Oh my
godless
word.
people.
Well,
Hey,
that was a very faith-based conversation.
a little sprinkled through. Sprinkled
Yeah.
through.
All
It doesn't
right.
all
Yeah.
have to be brimstone and save me
Yeah.
Jeebus.
We're gonna. Yeah, that's true. We'll just end every sentence with "Praise Jesus."
And
I
I got
got a
an
tattoo
amen.
when I was 20. Praise Jesus.
I'd love to do like the Southern preacher style. I think I'd be good at it.
Oh my God, you. Well, that's. It's funny because I like when Marco does the scripture reading, because a little bit of that North Carolina comes through, or where they're from, Tennessee or something like that,
Yeah,
and
I
he's
never
like,
asked him, but
and
yeah,
yeah, he'll start getting on a roll and just the Lord said, I'll just start laughing because you can get fired up listening to people like that.
I hear it in Michael. Like when,
Oh
especially like
yeah,
if it was like me, you, Michael, and Sheila talking, I could understand you perfectly well. But sometimes I struggle with Sheila and sometimes Michael too, where I'm like, I kind of don't hear it quite right, maybe.
yeah. Wait,
Yeah.
I'm still laughing because the first time I spoke to AJM on the live stream, poor guy tries to tell a joke, and he's telling like, why what's the difference between yogurt in America or something? And Steve and I were like, what's yogurt?
Yogurt. Yeah, what's a
Yogurt is
yogurt?
yogurt.
Oh, yogurt.
That's right.
Yogurt.
I'm glad you didn't catch that because I would have felt weird. But he kept saying yogurt, like that made it clearer. Yogurt, and we're both still like,
Yogurt.
okay, still, what is yogurt? And finally, he kind of, and then the punchline. But by the time we got the punchline, we were both just like, okay, we're still stuck on yogurt. And
I
apparently,
didn't know they said yogurt. I've
that's
never
what
heard a
he.
British person say it before, I guess.
I guess it depends on what part of the UK you're in. I don't know, but
Yeah,
I'm more surprised you didn't
definitely.
ask for the punchline.
Oh, well, yeah, what's the punchline? Sorry.
Yogurt has more culture.
Oh.
Yeah.
hey, hey, that circles way back to what we were talking about. Good tie-in.
Yeah.
You guys, well, U.S. has culture. You guys have culture. There is culture,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
think Canada does too. Like, why is it like we're the like if I went to Japan right now, would they change how things are done there? Like, I don't think so.
No. Eh,
No, like nowhere would. I was listening to this professor talk, and he was talking about like white guilt and what makes people,
oh my
especially like
Lanta.
Western civilization, like why they're cucking and why they're allowing themselves to be kind of taken over.
Yes.
And one interesting thing he said is when they actually realize the danger, when they start sensing it, things start going majority like conservative, like everything starts leaning to the right, huge, which is kind of like what's happening in the US, and there's a big thing in Canada too where a lot of conservative new conservatives. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
I I I I was deeply saddened seeing people getting online and apologizing for being white. And it's this is not a hit on just white people. It's just,
Crazy.
yeah,
Crazy.
it's just
I would
it's
never.
like,
I never took any slaves. I don't own. I don't have any guilt. I never did shit. I didn't do anything to anybody, and I have no privilege. And I'm not a very rich person. I have no influence. I have no power. I'm just a person, but I have culture and like I'm just. Yeah, it's crazy. It's
it
crazy.
is. And that's the thing that breaks my heart a lot. This is one thing I
Taking
always
the
resort.
knee.
What's that?
Taking the knee. Like a lot
Yeah.
of people doing
Oh
it, like
yeah.
the
In
football
fact,
games and.
one of the things I fell in love with my husband was he's such a sports guy. He loves his baseball. He loved his football. Oh my God. And hockey. Go Boston Bruins. I never got into
Nice.
sports.
Yeah.
What's that?
Nice. I wouldn't expect him to be into hockey. Not a lot of Americans are.
Well,
Yeah,
that's the
right on.
thing. I mean, that was his favorite. And
Yeah, hockey's
and
deadly.
he and I went to my very first live baseball game with him. I
Yeah.
wanted to go to a hockey game with him, and and just and it got me all excited, and then that whole wearing pink stuff and taking knees, and he canceled the cable because he just didn't care to watch it anymore. And it kind of makes me sad because I mean that was fun when game nights came on. We'd sit and watch baseball and have some popcorn, and it was fun. And it's like all
Dude,
that fun has been just sucked out of it.
I did the same thing, and like we have the CFL here. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Same kind of
Okay, yeah,
version.
we have NFL, you have CFL, Canadian
Yeah,
Football League.
football league. Yeah, same.
Okay,
The rules are a little slightly different, but it's the same game.
okay,
And like my team, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, I've been following that team for years, and they haven't been good really since like for a long time, like since the '80s, really since they've been good. And
yeah,
been following them, and then all this stuff started, and then the and then
oh,
Rona started, all that kind of stuff, and they didn't want people who didn't do something to come to their games, and the same thing with the BLM, like doing all
yeah,
that kind of stuff. So I just quit watching, and just like a weird, like a funny, just my luck kind of twist. As soon as I stopped watching, they became like the best team in the league, and they've won
yeah,
like back-to-back Grey Cups. But I still refuse to watch. They might take a third one this year. I still won't watch. But like
yeah.
as soon as I
And
stop
you
watching, they
want to be
become good.
excited for them because you're
I
loyal to
did.
your team.
Yeah, I don't even put their jersey on.
Oh, hello. I don't know how I lost Clutch, but it's funny. I heard last thing he said is he doesn't even put their jersey on, and to tie into that, we did the same thing. I got Bruins jerseys, and I got my husband had Redskins jerseys and all that, and now we don't wear the jerseys on either. I know I lost you for a second there, brother, but I just kept talking about the jerseys.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, all
Yeah,
good.
I was saying the same thing. We have the jerseys. We still have them. They're hanging in the closet. We
Yeah,
don't put them on no more.
yeah, yeah.
It's
Same
sad
here.
because that's another thing that we were talking about, the community. And you know, man, that first time we went to a baseball game, I got a little tense because it I liked I fell in love with the San Francisco Giants, right? My
Oh yeah,
husband, he's always been an Oakland A's fan, and if you know anything about baseball, you know they've always been big rivals, right?
yeah, yeah.
And
I know a little baseball. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, you're like, I live right next door. I've seen you guys pitch a few. Um,
Oh, we used to have two teams. We only have one now. We got the Blue Jays in
oh yeah.
right, but we used to have the Montreal Expos, but they went to Washington. They became the Washington. Uh, I don't know what they're called now.
Oh, I
Something.
didn't hear that. I didn't know.
Yeah,
But
yeah. That was like
I've heard
Montreal
my
left a
husband
long
talk
time
about the
ago.
Blue Jays.
What's that?
I've heard my husband talk about the Blue Jays, so that's why I was kind of
Yeah.
because I remember being shocked. I was like, Canada plays baseball, but I thought it was an American sport. And he's like,
Heck
well,
yeah,
they
we
have a.
even won. Hey, we won before, so come
You're
on.
like, we won a few. But have you ever
We took the
physically been
World
to a
Series.
baseball game?
Have I?
Yeah.
I've only been to minor league. I've never been to a MLB game.
Well, the cool thing was we sat right next to this family, and they were all wearing the Oakland A's, and then right in
Yeah,
front of us there was a whole other family wearing San Francisco Giants. But
yeah.
compared to a basketball game where people were all just like "F you" and just going crazy, they were just kind of laughing, and everybody
Ribbon
was
each other friendly, but yeah.
yeah, it was so much fun. And
Awesome.
especially now that all you see are cardboard cutouts in the stand. But I mean, and
Do
there
they
it's
still do
just
that?
I don't know. I haven't watched it so long, but we saw highlights on TV when we went to pick up pizza months ago, and we just shook our heads and waited for the pizza. But
Yeah.
I think a lot of that whole taking a knee thing, it just feels like that was just another thing to divide people, and take away
Absolutely.
that whole community camaraderie, fun atmosphere.
And
Let's put something serious and uncomfortable in the stadium.
keep you looking the other way while they rob your pockets blind.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that too. Oh, I don't even know how we got on sports. We got on sports through Pink. I
Uh,
can't. I
I
can't.
don't know.
I have no idea.
It's all good.
That was fun. Fun trip down
Good
memory
talk.
lane. My husband still loves the sports. You know what he does now? And here's an idea for you.
What's that?
He looks up the old games on YouTube, the stuff from the
Oh yeah.
80s.
Yeah. Yeah. I do some stuff like that similar, yeah.
Yeah, that's about all
Yeah.
he'll watch now.
Yeah, I watch like I don't even watch new movies really. The first new movie we've watched in 2 years was the new Batman movie, just because my one of my kids
Oh,
is really big into Batman.
yeah,
But other than that, yeah, it's just old stuff constantly, like just old. And I mean old, like we watched The Rifleman, which is like
oh yes.
1960 kind of Western, like black and white. We don't really watch anything new anymore. It's always tainted. There's always like an
There's
obvious
always
overt message.
yes, I know. And that's funny. The one of the movies we watch, we don't usually go out to theaters very much, but um, yes, we went to the theater and watched the Batman movie as well,
Oh,
and
nice.
it was pretty good. And I love the popcorn, but being
Yeah.
being here in this age, I still saw like things where where he like goes into the water and helps all those people out of that cage, and then all of a sudden they're all following him through the water, and he's carrying that. My husband
The
just kind
torch.
of mumbled, he's like the torch bearer or something like that.
Kind of
And
like Prometheus bringing fire to the people.
yeah, it was.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know what though? It was good. There is another one coming out. We are planning to go see. They they're coming out with the Predator movie, and it has Schwarzenegger and Glover in it.
I can't watch Schwarzenegger, and he was my favorite from the 80s, and I'm so mad I can't do it anymore.
You
When he
can't?
said
What?
fuck, when you didn't see him say fuck your freedoms when it came to the masks and all that.
No, I did not. But then again,
Yeah,
I
he
kind of shut down a lot of media after all that started. But no, I
he
did
he
not see
straight up
that.
said, yeah, I'll see if I can find the clip and send it to you, but he said straight up, those were his words, fuck your freedoms. Like what?
Really?
After he took, like, he lived in in North America for how long, taking advantage of all those freedoms, and
Yeah.
now it's fuck those freedoms. Like, oh, it made me. I
But
can't.
you're not saying it right though, brother. You
Yeah, I
gotta
can't.
say
I don't want to. I don't want to attempt the accent.
fuck your freedom.
Hey, not bad, not bad. Yeah, and then I love
No, I
Schwarzenegger. Like Conan, Commando, Red Heat. Freaking,
yeah.
there's so many. Terminator. Like there's so many. He was. Yeah, man. I grew up
Well,
on
I'm
Schwarzenegger.
never gonna sit back and say that any actor or actress are angels, but I didn't realize he had said that, and I'm not surprised because all of them are paid
They
to
all
say
do
what
it.
they're
Yeah,
supposed.
like maybe I'm being hypocritical because they all do it.
No, no,
They
I
all say
respect
that
the fact
stuff.
that you can completely get turned off by an actor when they say things like that. I mean, when I have a soft spot for veterans in the military, obviously, but and I believe that I believe, to me, the flag is a symbol of the people who've given up their freedom for what they think is right, no matter what you really know about the government and the wars and all that, right?
What?
And
Yeah,
and
I
when I
absolutely agree with that. Like the soldiers themselves, I'm not mad at them. They think they're doing a noble thing. Like it's I
exactly
and they are, in a way they are, because from their point of view they are doing a noble thing. So they are noble and they're good people. Like I don't but it's the policies, right? That's the problem.
right, and the leadership, and But
Yeah,
when I see the American flag, I don't see the evil stars and the stripes of the colonies. I see the coffins that they lay over. So to me, when I see actors, actresses, or anybody really that step on the flag, or it's sad to me. And
dude.
all I can think about are those guys that come home with a flag over their coffin. That's it. That's
I stupidly, naively, I used to be very proud of Canada and like love being a Canadian and thought it was a great country. And I see the corruption and horribleness that's it's involved
oh
in. And I used
yeah.
to love my flag and I hung it proud. And now I have it hanging in my little den that I sit in. But I'll be honest, and I mean, if any Canadians hear this, they might be quite offended, but I hang it upside down in a sign of
Really?
distress. That's what it means, right? It's not, it
Yeah.
doesn't mean I
It's
hate
in
the country. It
distress.
just means it's distress. And that's what I'm saying. And until I feel my country's righted itself, I won't put
Yeah.
it back.
There's
And
nothing
then,
disrespectful about that. That's a process. That yeah. And
yeah,
I'm sorry you
I don't
feel that way. I know. And I don't want to dwell on something that's depressing or sad too long, but you know what? In the end, every time I see something like that, I just tell myself, well, you know what? The same people that they're disrespecting are the ones who died for their right to do that. So, I,
crazy, eh?
I, ironic, you know?
Isn't it? Isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway,
Awesome. Well,
we're
this
gonna
was
be.
a good talk.
It was, and
We should try to set something up with Teresa. Like, so it doesn't matter really any day, Monday to Sunday, but for her between 1 and 2 o'clock my time.
okay. I'm gonna
Is that
see if
what you're
we can.
saying? I don't know if that
Yeah,
is.
yeah. Now, do you spend family time with your well? Do you spend time with your family specifically on Sunday? Is that off limits?
No,
Okay,
no.
well,
Well,
no, I
that's
just
not
want to
really
make
the.
sure because if
No,
if
like,
the,
well, Sunday here is like it's kind of family day, but it's like usually more towards the evening. But like in the day, we're either cleaning the house or prepping something for dinner, like working in the
yeah,
garden or whatever, like that kind of whatever. If I
well,
had an opportunity to talk for an hour, it wouldn't be a problem.
okay, then Bobby and I make a point never to plan anything on Saturdays and Sundays because that is just our time. So
Yeah,
I'm open all day, and I'll see if Sunday works for her, and we'll pick some. Oh,
whatever. Like,
we'll pick some really hard questions for her. No, I'm kidding.
I definitely want to hear her opinion on a lot of things. Like, I don't want to argue with her in any way. That's not what I mean. I just like I respect her and I like her
Same here.
her level of knowledge, and I just like to, like, for me, I don't it's not like one person convinces me. It's just like I listen to all this information, and I might find something really useful that she says, and I can incorporate it into my own
Yep.
views on things. Right? Do you know? Like, that's,
No,
I don't know,
I completely understand. I told her today. Every time I talk to her, I always learn something new, even if it's
for
small.
sure.
But
Yeah.
it's still something that I just like. Oh my gosh, it opens my eyes to stuff. And the more I learn from each and every person, sometimes you say something that's pretty interesting. And
I have my moments.
kidding, I'm kidding, but yeah,
I
you
just want to
do.
go out. Like, do you ever watch Seinfeld? No,
Yeah,
eh? I want to go out like George, like on a high note. I'm out
yeah.
every time. Every time he says something good. Yeah,
That's
awesome.
a great. I do remember that show. Like, oh god. Okay, we're gonna go into another hour of talking about sitcoms if we we keep going. It is time for dinner for me though, so I'm gonna go and
Us
put
too.
chickens away and yeah,
All right.
let's
Have a good
let's
night.
see if we can. We'll try next Sunday. We'll see what we do.
Excellent. Okay.
All right, brother. Thanks for the fun talk.
Good night. Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.